I'm blessed to have a lot of people leaving comments here on these videos, and I read every single one of them. I don't reply to a lot of them, but I do read them all because I find it really important to know what can I do to offer answers to people. What are the things that people are needing? What are they confused by? And what are they not like? And one of the playlists that I made on this channel is called How to Draw, and it has a whole bunch of videos that are step-by-step lessons on how to draw. Perhaps you've encountered them, perhaps you've followed them, perhaps you've done them, perhaps you'd like to do them. You can do them after we have this little chat now. One of the things that I noticed that a certain kind of commenter will say about these videos is they'll say, well, I watched your first video and there was a lot of talking, and I've watched it and I still don't know how to draw. And which of course is hilarious, because really, did you think that sitting and watching an 8-minute video is going to teach you this skill? Obviously not. But we have this urge when we want to learn something to have learned it. We want to get to that place where we know how to do it. And there's certain kinds of things that you come to YouTube for to find out, how to. I remember looking for how to fix an outdoor gas heater that I had, and I looked up a YouTube video and it explained, oh, you need to do this thing. So I did that thing and it worked, and I never need to think about it again. I learned it, I used it, and I moved on. But learning to draw, or learning most important skills, is much bigger than that. So why do we think that we should be able to learn these things so quickly? I don't know. And also, I'm not sure what learning to draw means exactly. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm still learning to draw. I hate to break it to you, but it's an ongoing journey. And maybe because when we were in school, we thought, oh, at the end of the term, I'm going to have a final exam, and then I will know what I need to know about, I don't know, Russian literature or long division or something like that. And I don't need to ever think about it again because I've passed and I've moved on to the next course. But the important things, the things we really want to do, don't really work like that. They're really what you learn when you're studying important life things. You learn the fundamentals, but you're not really where you ultimately would like to be, because you're comparing yourself with perhaps professionals who do it for a living and who have spent a long time getting really developed skills, working with professional coaches, and frankly, working at it all day, every day. And we compare ourselves with them. Or we compare ourselves with a vision that we have in our minds of what it should be like, what we should be able to do, even though we don't really know because we don't have this experience. But we think I should be able to draw, I should be able to speak French, I should be able to do brain surgery. Of course not. Just because we think we should, just because we have this vision of it, we feel like because we haven't accomplished it, that we failed. And we failed because of a number of reasons. We could have failed because the teacher sucked. That guy on YouTube with a playlist of videos wasn't a good teacher. Or it could be that we say to ourselves, I'm just not talented. So therefore I wasn't born with this birthright that would allow me to do this thing. I shouldn't do it because I can't do it, so I won't do it. Fair enough. That is not something I'm going to argue you out of, because the fact is, I wasn't a person who was quote unquote born with talent. Certainly when I was younger, nobody told me I had it. And now, having worked at it for a long time, I sort of know how to do it. But I can also look at what I've done and say, there's a lot of room for improvement. Does that mean that it's a bad thing to learn something and not know it immediately? Is that a reason to not do it? I don't think so, because I think that learning is fun. I think that discovering new things is fun. I think that stretching yourself is fun. And I like to focus on that instead. So rather than comparing myself with some ideal that I may or may not ever reach, instead I like to think, what will I learn today? And I can remember that from when I was in school, that There would be days that were boring and the teacher droned on and I didn't connect. But then there were also times where they would say something or they would show us something and a light bulb would go off and that would excite me and inspire me. And as a kid, I didn't have a choice. I had to keep going to school. And you don't have to keep watching YouTube videos and tutorials on drawing if you don't want to. But what I think can still motivate you is the experience itself. So are you enjoying this experience? Are you enjoying this particular step of this enormous staircase that you're climbing? Or are you slipping and sliding and falling on your face all the time? Which can be dispiriting, can be something that just sucks the joy out of it and makes you not want to do it anymore. So what do you do in that situation? Well, I think one thing to do is to kind of figure out why you want to learn this thing and let that continue to be your focus. What I like to do is if I want to learn to do something and I know it's going to be a bit of a struggle and it's going to take some time, I might sit down and write myself a little note. Why am I doing this? What do I want to do this for? How do I imagine applying it perhaps, but also what do I think the experience should be like? And by having that kind of a context, I can come back to that experience and that set of notes that I wrote myself and say, am I achieving that? And going back to that beginner's mind, that original sort of plan you made for yourself is important because that's really a reminder that, why we're doing this. If you don't know why you're doing it, if you're doing it, or you don't have a strong enough reason to do it, it's going to be much harder to stick to it. But if you have a pretty good reason, and hopefully a pretty simple reason and an authentic reason that's true to who you are, that might be enough to motivate you. And so coming back to that when you've had a rough day, when you've failed in some way that feels insurmountable, coming back to that and saying, okay, the reason I want to be able to do this is for this reason. And I've forgotten that briefly, but it's true. That is what I want to do. And if I didn't have this in my life, I would feel really like something was missing. I think that kind of a self-awareness can be really helpful too. I think also setting some kind of goals that are reasonable and achievable and verifiable, that you can say, okay, maybe my goal isn't necessarily to be able to draw Brad Pitt perfectly, but maybe my goal is to say, I want to enjoy myself by drawing for, 2 hours in total every week. And I want to be able to, draw 10 portraits in a month. And so therefore you assess yourself not by how good those portraits are, but whether or not you did them. And I promise you, if you draw for 2 hours a week, or if you draw 10 portraits a month, you'll get good at it, even if every single one of them isn't good. But therefore your goal isn't, I want to be able to draw portraits well. It's, I want to be able to check off this box that says I did that amount of work. And that's kind of like saying I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, It's not to say I want to be in perfect physical condition. It is to say, what is a goal that I can set for myself, that I can hold myself to, and that is reasonable, and can I get pleasure out of that? It shouldn't feel like torture. It shouldn't feel like a chore. It shouldn't feel like something somebody else is imposing on you. It should come from you. It should fit with your life. It should be reasonable. And that's part of what you can set up as your goal in trying to accomplish this whole thing. So those people who come to me and say, I watched a video and I don't know how to draw, well, I think you're discounting the importance of drawing by doing that, not to mention you're being unrealistic. But also, is that really what you wanted? Did you really think that you were going to watch a video that would instantly do that? Or are you making a snarky comment because you're irritated with yourself and you are hoping for some kind of a magic pill that doesn't exist? That isn't to say that working hard and failing at these things isn't annoying sometimes, but also, can you find pleasure in it? Can you enjoy being along for the ride, even if occasionally you don't know where you're going with all of this? So I hope that this is helpful, because I think that we all feel this way sometimes. We just feel like, why am I doing this? Why does this have to be so hard? Is this a waste of my time? Am I ever going to be good at this? And the reality is, it's up to you, really. It's up to you to figure out what being good at it means, and also, can you cope with a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of potential humiliation along the way to achieving something that is going to make you happy, is going to make you feel accomplished and satisfied. Because you can, if you put the hard work into just about anything, you will be able to get somewhere meaningful by doing it. But it's going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take a little bit of challenge. It's going to take a little bit of discomfort, as I said, but you can do it. You're a smart, resilient person, and think of how great you'll feel when you sense that you're on the road, that things are moving along. Not that you've reached your destination, because you may or may not ever reach that destination, but that you are progressing, and that you are learning, and that you are enjoying and valuing the work that you're doing. I hope that's helpful.